Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Solution Sunday. After a little week off last week, I am back and ready to roll with my good friend, Brenda Caster. Brenny, as we call her. Brenny is the author of the new book coming out. Stay tuned. It is called
A Stroke of Luck.
Yay! And we will have Brenny back on when her book is out. But today, we're going to have a little conversation about what do you really want? You know, we see so many people saying, I want to feel better. I want to be healthy. But what really is that? Have you actually looked at specifically what it is that you want? Because we are creators and we can't create if we're not clear about what it is that we're creating. So, Brenny, welcome to Solution Sunday.
Thank you for having me, Lisa. This is very nice.
Yeah, so, you know, we've been working together for a little while, and I know that you've had like a lot of epiphanies, as have
yes.
I, about what do we really want? We think we want something, but then once we really kind of dive into it, it's like, wait a second, there's something completely different.
Yes. I think for me, it was several weeks ago, we had a conversation, and if anybody knows you, they know the thing you don't want to say to you is, what is wrong with me? And in a conversation we had, it came out of my mouth and I was so stunned. I saw the look on your face. I was so stunned that A, it came out of my mouth, but B, that I would say it in front of you, knowing how you are. And I'm like, I just was like, wait a minute, where did that thought come from? Where is that in me? And it's a little whisper in the back of my head. And I'm thinking, wow, that was weird. And I started noticing how many little whispers I have going on in the back of my head. And I thought, I need to put the kibosh on this. And then I realized, why am I experiencing what I'm experiencing in my life right now, with my health, money, whatever it is. It's a reflection of my thoughts that is creating what I have experiencing in my life right at this moment. And so I just was doing some art. We talked again, and I think I shared with you that I realized maybe I'm not so clear on what it is I want, because I'm getting this, which is clearly not what I want. I'm listening to this, so I'm putting the kibosh. And then I kind of clearly saw that we are our physical bodies, but we are an energetic body. We have several energetic bodies. And it's like we are all one in the same, at the same time. And so I started looking at my energetic bodies, and I was like, everything that any one of us could ever want is available in our energetic bodies, because that's where all things are possible. And that's where we can choose anything we want. So then that begs the question, why am I not choosing those things and bringing it to me? Because it's really that simple. I thought it was going to be some big, huge thing, and it's absolutely not. We can go to our energetic bodies, select anything we want for our health, our wealth, our love lives, anything we want, and bring it to our physical bodies. And that's why the alignment, body, mind, and soul, is so important, because once you get aligned, you can see all things at all times, choose what you want. It'll be right here in your physical experience, And you can just keep doing that over and over until you want something different. So it's just been a really fascinating set of eye-opening, epiphanies that I've had. And I still look around going, okay, well, I'm still here. This is still happening. And it's like, that's okay, because the more aware I become of the little blocks, we've got decades of our thought patterns that just, they're on like a loop, and we're so unaware. It's very important that we take the time to be quiet. Just be quiet, go within and start seeing everything from within. And so anyway, that's been my, just the last couple weeks. I just keep having these epiphanies, and I'm like, anything is possible. And it makes me know without a shadow of a doubt that before the end of this year, my body's going to do a complete 180, and I will have my health restored completely. I have no doubt of it. And it's kind of exciting. And then you get those, what if people don't like you? What, you get those thoughts, and I'm like, that's not true. It's not true. But you got to tune in to those little thoughts and just keep squashing them. So
Exactly. We've been taught limitation. We are infinite beings, completely unlimited in any way, shape, or form. But we've all been taught that limitation is what it is. This is what is. You are limited. You can choose this or this. And you have to do this, and you can never do that. And we have simply been taught to follow the rules, which then limit us.
correct. Absolutely. I think it starts when we're little, you have to do this, and you have to do this, and you have to do this. And you just become so accustomed to doing what everybody else is doing. You're like little cattle just going along, everybody goes the same way. And it's so different from that. It's incredibly eye-opening when you start listening, when you start taking the time to be quiet. And I think, you had said in one of our classes that to get away from the noise, there is so much vibrational noise. I sat in my home the other day in the silence, and there is so much noise in my home. I was kind of surprised. I have Halloween decor, because Halloween's my thing, and I have timers set because I have lights going off, on and off displays and whatever. And you can hear all the timers. You can hear the refrigerator noises. You can hear clocks. There's a lot of noise in my house that I never noticed before. And it's like, I think when you go out into nature, that's when you can hear, well, there's a lot of noise out there, but it's beautiful noise. You've got trees and flowers, and you've got some birds and animals. And I mean, it's beautiful out there. It's not the same. It's not noise, it's sound. Difference.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Precisely. We've never been taught to notice energy. We've never been taught to see the unseen. So noise is basically electromagnetic frequency interference. And we're not taught about electromagnetics ever, because that's like super sciencey, and that would be really boring and terrible.
Yeah.
Right? Really complicated, but it's really not complicated at all. And when we start to be able to notice that there's a lot of static interference, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot, The refrigerators, the smartphones, the computers, they all emit frequencies, cell phone towers, microwaves, radiation from all different kinds of things. There's like a lot of stuff going around in the space around us. The space around us isn't empty at all. And
No.
when we start to recognize the, wait a second, I'm being influenced by the space around me, and when we can start to know who we are, we can start to differentiate between the truth of who we are and the noise of who we've been told we are.
That's very, very true, because until I started noticing those little whispers in the back of my head, it was just, you walk around and sometimes you're exhausted, sometimes you're a little down, sometimes, and you're like, where is this coming from? Well, it's the noise.
Yeah.
It's like I got rid of TV, I have them, but I got rid of the service that I had, and I don't miss it one bit. I really don't. But you've got your phone, your iPads, your computers, and, I take courses and stuff, and then it's like, well, I'm here. I might as well play a game, and I might as well do this, and I might as well do that. And before you know it, you're exhausted. It's sapping your energy, and so I just have been working myself to listen to myself and push away from me. I just take my light and push it out and push that noise away from me, because that's the only way I can tune in and ground myself to this earth, and so I mean, it's when you get this, when you absolutely get this, it's so life-changing. And I'm not healed like that. I'd be dancing around over here, but I have no doubt it's there. It's there for me. When I decide I truly want something, and I don't have those whispers of, oh my God, will somebody take it from me? Will somebody hate me? Will somebody, all these static thoughts going on. When those are gone, I'm going to have anything I want anytime I want. And anybody can do this. It's not me. It's not just you. It's not some guru. It's anybody can have this. And it's not hard. You just have to quiet your mind, go within, and it's just that easy. It's really that easy.
Yeah, we are souls, non-physical beings, first and foremost.
Yes.
And we are creator beings. We have the ability to create anything we desire. And in fact, I'll even kind of fine tune that statement. Everything that is, anything that has ever been created is already created. If we can imagine something, the only reason we can imagine it is because it's a viable possibility. If it wasn't a possibility, we wouldn't be able to imagine it. If it hadn't already been created on some level, we wouldn't be able to imagine it. So all it is, it's the ability to fine tune our frequencies so that we become the version of ourselves that has the thing that we desire, whether it's health, whether it's wealth, whether it's relationships, community, whatever that is. It's all about the self. It's about becoming the version of ourselves that we truly love to be, that we enjoy being.
Yeah.
So it's like, what, when you were healing from the, in the original, in your original healing time after your stroke, I know you thought you wanted something, you wanted to feel better. But what have you learned on your journey about, like, what is it that you really wanted?
Well, I want to love myself. There's that, it's like I've had so much self-judgment for my life. My whole life has just been a little bit of, this and that. And it's my perception of things that have happened throughout my life, And I just decided the other day, it's like, I just want to be who I am. I don't want to apologize for who I am. I don't want to have to hold back who I am. It's like so many people throughout my life have been jealous because I am talented. I have a lot of talents and it pisses people off for whatever reason. So you try to downplay or just diminish what you do, who you are. And I thought, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that anymore. And so I've let a lot of things go by the wayside. And, the stroke, I don't have the feeling in my hands. I have a billion excuses why I can't be the awesome person I am because of this stroke. And it's like, isn't that convenient? It's like we create things to make us feel better. And this stroke gave me a huge opportunity to not do things I want to do. If I'm just being flat out honest, it's kind of almost like warped thinking because who would do this, number one, but our bodies are so good, they will create what we believe, what we want. And maybe it was subconscious. I don't know what it was, but my body created something so I wouldn't have to do things. Well, that worked. It's like, well, okay, it's like not what I intended, but it has definitely worked. And so I want to create something different now. So it's up to me to make that happen. I created this, so I could absolutely uncreate this. And I have no doubt about that. So figuring out what we want is sometimes not all that easy. You have to be real honest with yourself. You do. You have to be brutally honest. What do you want? Why do you want it? What would you have to gain to have this? Do you worry about what people are going to think if you have something or you get something? And then I realized just a couple days ago, that should never be a worry because you have created the people in your life that will support you in anything that you want. And the people who won't just aren't going to be in your life. You will have you will have found a way, or they will have found a way to distance themselves from you because they can't support you. And if you can't be supported by people, you don't want them in your life. So it's kind of fascinating when I realize, well, this one will do this and this one, you get all these little things going on. And I was like, wait a minute, why are they in my life? If they can't support me, I'm the only one supporting. It's like pretty one-sided. Well, that's a problem. So I need to draw in the people into my life that will support me. And I used to think that was, well, just until not that long ago, that was kind of impossible. But I am mostly online right now, drawing in people that think the way I think and support me in the things that I'm doing. And I'm thinking it doesn't have to stop online. It can be anywhere. I can have supportive people wherever I am. And so that if you're thinking, well, so-and-so is not going to like this or that, well, that just dispelled that. You just got to get better people in your life. That's all. So.
And it's really about, supporting ourselves unconditionally, giving
Yes.
ourselves that love, giving ourselves that permission, letting ourselves know that we're fine. And, once we start, because everything is energy, and energy energy structures itself into
Yeah.
patterns. And if we feel unsupported or uncertain of ourselves, or, wishy-washy, then we get this unsupportive, wishy-washy reality.
Yes, absolutely. It's like, I think when you strive to get something, when you work so hard to get something, you're pushing against the very thing that you want. You have to just say, this is what I want. It's yours, and you move on until it shows up, because it will show up. And it's not always the way you think. It is just not. I didn't think that not wanting to do stuff would result in a massive stroke that almost killed me. Yeah, that wasn't in the plans, but that's how it showed up. And it was just what I needed to get a hard reset, because I was too stubborn to do it any other way. I would not stop. I just would not stop. So this gave me a massive reset. And I've had a few of them. I get to where I'm going pretty good, everything's fine, and I'm going right back to the same thought patterns I had before, and my body says, no, that's not where we're going, remember? And I get a hard smack, and it's like, I get upset, and then I just realized every time I've been smacked down has been awesome. Because it's brought me to this point where I understand why it's happening, and it's for my best, because that's what I put out there. So it's coming back to me exactly as I put it out, just not how I thought it would come. So, I'm not going around looking for love or money or health. I just know those things are mine. And I'm just making sure every day I ground myself to this earth. I go into myself. I look outside my physical body, and I think that's what I want right there. And I pull it into me. So every day it's coming into me. And when my body aligns with my mind and my soul, that's when it will be mine.
There you go. The law of attraction in
Yep.
action. It's like we attract all of these things to ourselves. So the reality around us is the direct reflection of what's going on inside us.
Mhm.
So I love how you explained that. And when we want a healthier, fit body, whatever that is, like, yes, we do have to do some things. It's not just about sitting around all day oming and, it's coming to me, I know. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
no, it's like, for me, as I was, I grew up as a high level figure skater, and I had this like super fit, agile body, super strong. And then as life progressed and I started struggling with life and I started feeling worse and worse and worse about myself, I became more and more sedentary. I became more and more stuck, locked in place. And my healthy, fit body was pretty soon not healthy and fit anymore. Not because it wasn't a healthy, fit body, it was because I had stopped being healthy and fit on the inside. I had started feeling really, really horrible about myself and feeling like a failure and a loser and, all of these things. And my body started to reflect that, where I was stuck in place. So my body became this sedentary bump on a log.
Well, it
And
became stuck.
exactly. Yeah. So now to get back to being that healthy, fit athlete, like, yeah, I do have to get out and move my body. I've got to do a little bit of exercise,
Right.
sitting
Yeah.
around. I tried the sitting around for, and just oming for a while. And I was like, it's not really working as fast as I would like for it to work. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, I have to actually get up and do something. But
Well,
it's all in alignment,
it
it's not.
is. And I think that oming has a purpose, because it will, in my mind, opportunities will present themselves.
Yep.
So it's up to you to take the opportunities that present themselves. you're drawing that in. You draw that in, and then you open your eyes, and all of a sudden somebody will present you with something. A flyer will hit your desk or something that was like, something's available. Opportunities will absolutely present themselves, and you will know them. You'll go, whoa, that's cool. And you start down that path, and it just takes you all over the place. You cannot plan. You can't plan this stuff out, you know. You have to be fluid. You have to know that the universe is always working. So when you ask, you're going to get it, but it won't be the exact way you want it. It's like, this person's going to come into my life, and this is the way it's going to be. And it's not going to come like that. Somebody's going to knock into you, and, you know, your groceries are going to fall down, or, you know, I mean, who knows? There's so many myriad of ways that things will move and shift, because the universe you want this? Okay, let's bring this in. And so look at your life. I'm looking at mine lately, and I go, where were my thoughts? So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like once I really made the decision that I wanted to get back in shape, you know, I didn't make the decision for a long time because I didn't want to go to the gym. Like, I looked at, you know, going to and I just thought, wow, that's really just not my style. It's really not what I want to do. But it's like, all right, I really want to get back in shape, you know. So I started, you know, just getting outside and walking and doing things. And really fast, all of a sudden, I had the opportunity. Some friends who work out all the time at their own house said, hey, why don't you come over to the house and just work out with us? We'll do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's like, great. There's my answer right there. I
Right.
wouldn't have thought of that, you know,
No.
but there's the opportunity. Something even better than what I had imagined
Yeah.
showed up. And now I take the opportunity and I go and I do it 3 days a week. I go work out. It's not a huge big deal. It's fun with friends, and we get to start having my body back.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And, you know, it's like, so I had to get really clear about what it is that I wanted. I didn't want to just, you know, be healthy. That wasn't, you know, yes, I want to be healthy, but I also want to be fit and agile. So like I had to fine tune my desire because
Yes.
I knew I was already healthy, but my body wasn't fully back in the strength and agility that it was,
Right.
you know, 30 years ago. It's like, why
Yeah.
not? It's like, all right, I actually want that. And so the universe is like, hey, cool, let's help you with that.
Well, and that's pretty much how it is, because as we progress in the things that we're drawing to ourselves, our wants and needs will change.
Absolutely.
So we can just flow with that. It's like, okay, I think I want this now, to go with this thing, because really anybody can be healthy. You just eat the right things and, you know, do the right thing, whatever. But to actually have a fit body is a completely different thing than be healthy. So, you know, you recognize, I need to add to this. I need to add to this story. And I think that's life. It's never dull. It's always changing. And I think that's exciting. It's really exciting. So
Is, you know, and there are so many things out there that tell us what we want. You know, you want
yeah,
this new car, you want this new pill because this new pill is the thing, you know, whatever we're told all the time. This is what advertising is for, is to
right.
tell us what we want. Hey,
Yeah.
it's going to be really, really cool if you have
It's,
this thing.
you know, it's amazing when you go places and just listen to people talking. They do talk about, oh, have you seen your doctor? Have you asked your doctor about this? Because this is good for arthritis. And oh, I had this. And it's just, you sit there and you go, well, I'm so glad I'm not part of that conversation. and that's not part of my world. It just, for me, when I hear little snippets like that, I think I'm on the right path. I'm on the right path, because that it just confirms that's not what I want for my life.
Yeah.
You know,
When I found myself facing quote unquote cancer,
right?
I sat myself down and I was like, wow, I don't want this, you know? And so I really had to sit myself down and say, what is it that I really want? And, you know, of course I wanted to be healthy. I wanted the cancer gone. That was obvious. However, what did I really want? Well, I really wanted my healthy, fit body back. I really wanted to be able to feel good. But what I really, truly wanted, I wanted to be master of my own molecules. Like, I wanted to know how to heal my own body so that I would never have to go to the doctor ever again.
Yeah,
Like, that's what I really wanted. I didn't like going to the doctor and sitting in waiting rooms, making appointments, having, pre-approvals and co-pays and sitting around in some thing they call a gown that doesn't even have a back on it. It was like, this is not for me at all. Like, I
yeah,
don't want this in my life at all, period. So for me, what I wanted was to know how to heal my own body. So I had to get super, super clear about that. And then every day I had to start making the decision to step out of fear of what was going on in my body. And I had to start asking some really good questions, that would help me find the actual answer that I was
yeah,
looking for,
right.
because asking the question, why is this happening to me? Or what's wrong with me? Or why can't I get better? Those questions are going to be answered, and
Yeah,
they're going to be answered every single time. And I guarantee those are not the answers that we are looking for.
no, 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 no.
But we're taught those, in school. What's wrong with you? Why are you not paying attention? All these kinds of things, but we're never taught to ask really good quality questions that when the universe answers those questions, it's like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I needed to know. So
Yeah,
I started asking the better quality questions about, what do I need to know about this in order for me to change it? Like,
yeah.
that was a pretty powerful question. And when I
Well, I think I might try that one.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
Being,
for
being,
anybody that's taking notes, here it is again.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
worth repeating. What is it that I need to know about this in order for me to change it? It's a
yeah.
super powerful question. And when you receive the answer for that question, which you will receive the answer if you get quiet, the answer will literally blow your mind because it will clear out all of the misperceptions that are standing in your way.
Absolutely. That is very profound, extremely profound. We have to be clear. That's it. We have to be clear on what we want right there. And then asking that question. And that way, what is it that I need to know about this to change it? Brilliant. And it's not, I mean, that's why your book, The Simplicity of Self-Healing, because it's just that simple. Anything, anything we want is really just that simple. And I think, people go on these quests to learn all this profound knowledge and stuff, and it's not that. It's just simple. And I mean, I am so blessed to have met you, to read your book, and to have you take the time to, coach me and, have me in your classes and stuff has been so life-changing for me. And I just see, I mean, I've hit the ground a few times, and it's like, I know where I'm going, and it's just keep going up. I'm keep going up. So Thank you
You're very
for your
welcome.
awesomeness.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Your awesomeness has attracted my awesomeness, and together we just keep growing and changing
That's how we do it.
all of it. This is really what it is. It's, life is a solo journey. However, we don't have to do it by ourselves.
And that's what's really nice, is because there are people out there that think the way we think. And the more we are just who we are, the more we draw other people of like minds to us, I think. And I have several groups that I belong to here, and sometimes I go, I'm going to miss these people on some kind of level, because they're not going in the direction I'm going. I mean, it's obvious to me they're just not. And I'll just miss seeing their face and, the little bit that we have. But I know where I'm going is so much better, so much better. And the people, I'll have so much more fun and just create so much more good things in the world, moving in the direction I'm going. So
Yeah,
it won't be a solitary journey.
absolutely not. There's so much potential and possibility for this amazing planet. Humanity, we have been taught limitation for
Yeah,
thousands of years. We have been controlled by the powers that be and just said, this is the way it is, and you're going to have to deal with the way it is. And then we don't question that
yeah,
because we see the way it is and we go, wow, well, obviously that is the way it is. So we're just going to have to deal with it. However, it doesn't have to be that way at all, period. And we can create a completely new way of being on this
right.
planet. And what's
You know,
actually possible for this planet is for us to all live in peace and harmony with each other, in health and happiness, with plenty, because Mother Earth gives all of us plenty. There is plenty here, but the plenty that is here has been controlled by a very small group of
right.
people who don't
Yeah,
want everybody to have, they want all of the plenty for themselves, and they
right.
want the rest of us to have nothing and be happy.
Yeah,
And this is simply not how we're going to keep going, because there's so many of us that have already awakened and
right.
started to see, wait a second, it's only the way it is because it's been created that way. Let's create something different. Let's create a whole new way of being.
When you wake up every morning, it's a day filled with unlimited possibilities. You
Exactly.
just got to choose one.
Yes.
If you start your day out in doom and gloom, well, there's your day, but you can start your day out with a feeling of joy, of gratitude, and you can keep that going. You can just keep that going. Tune out the noise, just keep that noise down. Be
Yeah.
aware, be aware of your thoughts, and that's, to me, has been so key, is just to find an awareness of the whispers, because they're slick, they're sly, and they come in and they're just, it's not something you'd readily notice unless you're tuned to them. And then you can clear them out and move on with your day and
Exactly.
know it's a good day. Every day is a good day.
Yeah.
Everything always works out.
There you go. That's it. Exactly.
Mhm.
And because, kind of circling back toward the beginning of the conversation, we have never been taught to notice energy. So, and
No,
each one of us we have our own personal energy field. It's called an aura, different words for it, but we've never been taught how to clean and balance our energy field. We've been taught that we need to take a shower every day, we need to brush our teeth, comb our hair, but
yeah,
we've never been taught that we need to clear and balance our energy field.
yeah,
And it's incredible what happens, how simple it is to clear and balance our energy field. But when we don't do that, then we simply have all of the noise all over us because all of that noise is in our energy field. And when we learn how to clear that out at the end of the day, when we go to sleep with a nice, clean, clear, balanced energy field, we have a far better night's sleep. We get rested. We wake up to a fresh, clean day. But when we
Yeah.
go to bed and we still have all of that noise and confusion and the resentments and the angers and all of that stuff, we wake up in the exact same space the next morning and we
Yeah.
just
And we don't want to get up.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and life becomes a chore.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think life is meant to be enjoyed.
Yes.
And I don't know. I wake up in the mornings and I have such gratitude for, I don't know, everything, for my life, for the way I'm going, for my home, for my cat. I just sit there and revel in all that I have to be grateful for, because I have a lot to be grateful for. I mean, I just feel, well, I feel, I know I've had kind of an interesting life, but I feel like I've been lucky my whole life, my entire life. I have been a very, very lucky person. And I would consider myself that. And I know, parts of my life you go, really? Go, I I feel lucky that things happen the way they did. Um, and the timing of stuff, it's always been perfect. When you look at your life, you'd say, well, this happened and that, the timing has been perfect. And you've learned so much that you can move on from things. It's just, I don't know. I've been a lucky person and I'm so grateful for that right there. It's like I never have to worry because I'm lucky.
Right? So now your book is called A Stroke of Luck, and Michelle is asking, what's your book going to be about?
The book is my life story, actually. It's, I thought, who's going to want to read this? But, I've come to understand that my life has unfolded in a variety of different ways. And it kind of chronicles my thought patterns from when I was little, and when constantly, it seemed like I constantly discounted my gut feeling. I was just like, and the consequences thereof, my gut saying, don't do this, big mistake, big mistake, big mistake. And I'd go, yeah, but he said, or they said, I better do it because, and it was just like bonk, and it's like I had a lot of bonk moments in my life, and it's about, I think, not only just my life, but it's out overcoming a lot of things, understanding a lot of things. When I had the stroke, I mean, I don't know that there was any other way I could have gone was the stroke, because I had screwed stuff up pretty bad by and it was like, okay, we need the hard reset here for you. And that entered the stroke. Well, before I woke up, I was kind of in and out. And truthfully, my whole life, I knew this wasn't my home and I wanted to go home. I didn't want to be here. I wanted to go home. And I went to the other side and I had an opportunity to go home. And I was so happy. I was like, woohoo. And then I was like, oh man, my soul knew I came here for a reason and I wasn't done. And I was like, dang it. I was kind of like, okay, I can't, I can't go home yet because I'm not done here. And so, going to the other side, I had choices to make. And then I came back and I felt euphoric because I just had all the shit lifted off me by our creator. And I just felt euphoric. I never felt pain through the whole stroke, never had any sense of pain, anything. I was floating. And I did feel like the luckiest woman in the world. And then the reality of my situation kind of rammed home, and that's when the pain and it just all kind of came crashing down. And I'm like, okay, it was a hard recovery. It was a very hard recovery, but I've learned so much and I've met so many awesome people, and I wouldn't change a thing. I would not change one thing in my life. I think my book brought me to the realization that love is the answer for everything. I have been seeking and seeking and seeking my whole life. And love is the absolute answer to anything, any question, anything. It's love. And so it's my journey from when I was little, my struggles, to find out that love's the answer. So hopefully it will save some people from doing this, but you know, I don't know. So Michelle, that's what my book's about. It's about me.
Awesome. And she asks, what was it like on the other side?
Well, I think it's different for everybody. Mine was a little funny because when I went, the angel Gabriel was there in front of me, and he said, you've got these choices to make. And there was no verbal conversation. It was all soul to soul communication. So there's no misunderstanding, and there is no time. There is no time. So I doubt anybody even knew I was gone, because it was in less than a blink of an eye was my journey. But over there was no time constraints. And I would say that's how one can explain spontaneous healings, because over there, you could be there for centuries, and here it's less than a blink of an eye. It's just the way it is. And so I had choices, and for me, it was a little bit funny because he took this giant sword, and he was, giant, and he took this sword and he pointed it at this rock, like, let's make a deal. It's like door number one. And then door number two, I mean, I had 3 doors. I probably could have had infinity, but I chose 3. And it was, I could go home. And I said, yeah, I can't, I could go back to exactly how it was. And it was like, no, it was too hard. I was like, I didn't do well here. So no. And door 3 is I could let go. And there was just this empty space. There was a door, and it was empty. There was nothingness beyond. And I just knew that was my thing. Without a backward glance, I just walked in through that door, and I just fell in this slow roll, and I landed in my creator's lap. And there was so much love, so much light. And I basically had my soul cleansed. And I think that's the true meaning of being reborn, that a lot of people say you're being reborn. It was beyond awesome. And then I was set down after that experience, and I saw like these tunnels, and I knew I had to walk towards one. And as I was going, it was getting darker and darker. And I thought, I knew the tunnel wasn't dark, but I'm thinking, why can't I see? And I realized I had been in the presence of such brilliant light that anything outside that would pale. So I got to a fork in the road. I wasn't afraid the whole time. I mean, it was just like, I knew where I was. I was, calm the whole time. And I get to this fork, and I thought, and I closed my eyes, and I started hearing this rumble. And I was like, oh, I go this way. And I went that way, and I realized that were people praying for me, is the way I chose to go. And that's when I opened my eyes here in the thing. So it wasn't a very lengthy experience. I mean, maybe it was over there. It just was not rushed. It was, it was a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I'm glad I made the choice I did.
Wow, how beautiful is that? My goodness.
It was a really fascinating experience.
I'm certain. And Shannon is asking, what is something you feel that you came back to accomplish?
Well, I think my book is one of them, actually. I mean, I'm hoping that my book will give people a sense of hope, um, that all is not lost. Doesn't matter what happens to you. I've had some weird stuff. Trust me, I've had some weird stuff. And it's like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter what happens to you. It just does not, because everything always works out. And when you look at everything that you do in your life, I mean, I can honestly look back and, for a long time, it's like, what the hell? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? And I just go, you know what? This happened for me. This happened for me. It didn't happen to me. It happened for me. Every illness, every fight, every whatever happened for me. This was my soul's journey, nobody else's. And so I think I've come back to say, hey, it doesn't matter what happens. It's all going to be okay. Love is the answer. And so I think that's what my goal in life is to be myself and to tell people you're okay the way you are. Just look at it a little different. Just twist your head this way a little bit. I was always black and white. If it was either this way or I saw no other way. It was this or that. No gray ever. And when I finally started seeing there's a myriad of colors, there's a myriad of shades of everything, changes everything.
Yes.
We are all the same and we are all different. We are all love.
Exactly. Well said.
So I don't know. I kind of went on a tangent, but I hope that answered your question, Shannon.
For sure. We live in this polarized society. It's black or white, left or right, good or bad. And the real truth of it is we live in an and society. We live in a universe of infinite possibilities. It's never just black or white, either or. There's and there's all of those shades in between.
Yeah. That was a long time for me to catch that, because I was so rigid on so many things. I had terror from when I was little, just being late. I mean, I was always with a watch, the whole time. I finally couldn't stand it. And I took the watch off, and I was shaking when I took the watch off, because I was always, am I late? Am I late? Am I late? All the time. It was ridiculous. And I don't know, I was probably 19, 20, something like that. And I was like, I can't take it anymore. And I just took the watch off. And I had a whole drawer full of watches in there. And I was like, and I mean, the lure of putting that watch on was huge. But when I took the watch off, it was just that one little thing. I was just a little bit of relief, and I was never late, but I didn't have to worry about it all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just little things like this throughout people's lives that we don't have to do. We do not have to do those,
Exactly.
we just align ourselves. Just align ourselves. And, that sounds, because it is, but doing that can be a little bit challenging, I think. Or we'd all be like, having everything we want. And that's, I think, the goal. And I think that's how this world is going to end up being, is we all create the things we want. And when we can all do that, there will be no jealousy, no hatred, no envy. Everybody can do the same thing. So, it won't matter. And that's, I think, the whole goal, is to educate people to find that alignment within themselves. Because once people are aligned, we got some massive, awesome creators. And when everybody is creating, it'll just pick up a momentum that's not going to stop. And this world is going to be beyond awesome.
Exactly. And this is what's actually possible. Heaven on earth is
Exactly.
literally possible. It's not some fantasy or some pipe dream. It's actually the blueprint. It's actually our natural design. And it is far simpler to create heaven on earth than it is to continue this hell that has been here for so long, living in war and disease and poverty and work. Life has become so much work. It's not the way it's meant to be. It's meant to
Right.
be easy and fun. And when we take the watches off and we turn off the TVs and we just start to be, we start to tune in, we can just simply set the intention that we arrive at the perfect timing. We can simply intend that everything always works out because it does. We can start trusting the outcomes because we can start focusing on what we truly want. We want to feel good. We want to live in peace and harmony. We want to be happy. And when we're happy, we really want everybody else around us to be happy as well, because it's really not all that much fun living with a whole bunch of people who are unhappy. So
Yeah.
we always wish the best for everyone.
Well, I think what I've noticed in my life lately is little things just falling into place. I, used to get stressed if one thing got changed in my plans. I'm a planner.
Mm.
And lately it's like, oh, well, this isn't done. This isn't done. Oh, well, it'll work out. And I get a phone call, I get a text, I get something. Hey, we can't come over. Can we do it like 2 days later? And I go, that'll work out, because I'm not ready. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's going to work out. I just had to let things go. And when you let things go, you allow the universe to come in and work its little magic. And I tell you, that happens more and more for me. And I just smile and go, okay, that'll be fine, because it just was a solution that I would not have thought of, just comes up, it pops up. And I think I'm going to have a lot more of that. The more I go within, the more I start being clear, real crystal clear on what I want, more that's going to come up, more opportunities will show, reveal themselves. And, I get excited because I just see an awesome life for myself, surrounded by awesome people. And it makes me happy. I go around smiling half the time, and people are, I think it bothers some people, but it's like, oh, well, it'll work out for you too. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah, we all know that it's going to work out because that's the way we're creating it. Those are
Mhm.
the energies that we're putting out, because we've never been taught to see energy, we haven't been taught to use energy. So if we're constantly living in fear and stress and guilt and shame and anxiety, well, those are the energies that we're throwing into our future. It's like, ooh, big cauldron of these energies. This is boil, boil, totally in trouble. This is what I'm going to create now.
Yeah.
But if we're using a cauldron of peace and ease, and it's always going to work out, and certainty and love, and well, those are the seeds that we're planting. So that's what's going to arise in our future.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really simple,
It is. And it cracks me up that it's this easy.
right?
It's just like, it's gotta be hard, but it just isn't. you
Exactly.
know
It's
you
like,
just got to let it go of the fact of the belief that it's hard, because it just is not. It just is not.
yep, we have been taught that life is hard work and struggle and that everything is difficult. And
Yeah.
literally, it's not. But we have
No.
to be able to look at the energy and see the energy, because once we become masterful with energy, everything gets simple. we can start clearing it out, utilizing energy on
Yeah.
purpose. And, this is one of the greatest things about watching you on your journey is that you have really become very tuned in to the energy.
Well, I mean, you have a way of teaching that makes it easy for someone to see. You really do, because I want to know. I want to know what am I doing wrong? Why am I not seeing these things? And you make it real clear, and it's like, oh, okay. And when you explain about bringing yourself into alignment, and you look at your energetic body and you go, oh, there it is. There it is. And you just have to look. You just have to ask the question. You're right. It's all about the right questions that you ask yourself. And it's like allowing. You've got to allow things. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this thing exactly this way. Well, good luck. I imagine you could create that at some point, but it won't be what you think. I don't believe it would be, but I'm not I'm not going to create your stuff, but I just think you have to allow what comes in and be delighted. And that's how just these little simple things that change my days, or people text or call or something, just delight me because it's so unexpected. It's happening in unexpected ways, and it's just so fun. Life can be really fun if you let it.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Let
So,
life surprise and delight you. For sure.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This has been such a fun conversation, Brenny. Thank you so much for.
thank you for asking me, Lisa. I've had a blast. I love talking about this. I love talking to you. So, I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Yeah, we can't wait to have you back for your big book launch.
Yes, soon.
Yep, coming soon. So
Yep.
we'll definitely keep you posted on that. Thank you, everybody, for whoever has joined us, Michelle and Shannon, and anybody else on Facebook who has joined us this morning. And
Thank you.
and if you're watching on YouTube, drop us a comment, subscribe to my channel. And if you're listening on Connecting You to You Radio, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And so next week, we will be back with another Solution Sunday. So thank you all for joining us. Until next week, create for yourselves a great week.
Yes.
Bye for now.